So, as we've previously discussed, there's a whole thing going down with MindsEye. The game was rushed and buggy and broken, just not great. And most of us, that tried it thought maybe there's potential, but it needs a lot more time in the oven. It just was not ready. It was one of the poorest reviewed games of the year, if not the worst reviewed game of the year. And so it didn't seemingly do very well. Since that happened, though, all of the ownerships, the executives have been going through, I think, what is clinically deemed a mental breakdown and collapse. Leslie Benzies, one of the big name behind the studio, allegedly showed up in the Epstein files because he was in a relationship with somebody who was a victim of Epstein, is my understanding, I believe. Don't quote me on that, but he showed up in the files, which is a rough day. It's not what you want. Tell you what, not a goal. And the co-CEO has proceeded to just totally mentally implode. You see, the narrative has been that it's not that the game was rushed, buggy, broken, and that's why people talked about it and covered it, while they were promising it was going to be a competitor to GTA 6. That's not what happened. It's not that they hyped it up and then it was buggy and broken and a disaster. What he's going with is that this was part of an international conspiracy where they were actively being sabotaged by an American company paying a British company to pay content creators and even members of their own studio to sabotage the game and the reputation of the company. Which, I hear you, sounds insane, because I think it is. But that's what is being claimed. There was a whole article breakdown from Insider Gaming discussing it, alleging that there was a budget between 1 million euros and 25 million euros, but basically somewhere in that range, and that they were paying people to do this. As you can see, according to Gerhard, the company has been paying several influencers, including Cyberboy. An influencer, Gerhard, recently threatened with a cease and desist via Discord, the place where all legal action takes place, 3 journalists, and Build a Rocket Boy employees. And he's alleged that they all intentionally were harming MindsEye and Build a Rocket Boy's reputation based on their payments received from Ritual Network. Ritual Network, this British company, responded, and it's like, the hell are you talking about? So that's where we're at. But Cyberboy has posted a response because the co-CEO is threatening to sue him. And so he's posted a response. Let's see what he had to say. He's also, I believe, in chat. So if there's anything else he wants to add, let us know.
MindsEye co-CEO alleges €1 million was spent in sabotaging their game and will pursue legal action. So you guys may have seen this article, and I think it's about time I covered it. And I haven't covered it for a few days, but we will talk about why that is shortly. MindsEye co-CEO Mark Gerhard has alleged in an internal meeting with Build a Rocket Boy employees that they have caught the guys who sabotaged MindsEye in an alleged €1 million plus campaign.
They caught him!
In the meeting, which took place in late January and was sent to Insider Gaming on the condition that the video not be made public, Gerhard opened the call by saying they caught the guys who had been sabotaging MindsEye. He alleged that the company behind the campaign was a very big American company, but it's probably not the company you're thinking of. So i.e. he's saying that it's not Rockstar, because previously there was a subtle nod towards Rockstar being responsible for some sort of sabotage campaign. And
also, look at the date on that. That article is from May 28th of 2025, okay? The game launched, I believe, June 10th. So before it even launched, when there was negative feedback to what they were showing and a lot of skepticism around it, he was already alleging that there was a concerted effort from multiple other companies, and it was, again, heavily suggested that it was possibly Rockstar, like before the game even launched, okay? And this was in direct response. I believe this was around the time that Spawnwave and Maddie, they went to a digital preview event that was so bad. Like I've never heard of something on that level. Like some of the stuff that he outlined in here was insane. Like absolutely insane. Let me get the transcript. This is insane.
Balancing things. The demoist, I've never seen this in my entire life. The demoist used invincibility to get around 2 different encounters in 2 different missions that they otherwise would have died in because they were very clearly unbalanced. Again, I have never seen that before. That is like mid-production stuff. Like when you have not balanced your game and you're like, we just need to test if this can go like start to finish and like the skeleton, the quest works. That's what you do. So to see that a month away from launch, I'm like, oh boy, that's not good.
This video is posted May 22nd. And this is actually what kickstarted a lot of the articles and response videos and stuff of people being like, the hell is this? The hell is this? I've never been to a preview event where like they couldn't play it because it was unbalanced. Like, it's one thing if there's a crash and they have to reboot the demo, like that happens all the time. And it's very normal for like pre-release software to be unstable like that. But this is a balancing issue. Like, the mission wasn't built in a way that was playable. Like, it's crazy, absolutely crazy. But this is 6 days later is this article alleging that there was a concerted effort to trash it. It's just delusional. Like, if it was the case, like I'm sure what he's suggesting is that they were not responsible for the negative reactions people had, and that those reactions were just born out of negativity or this paid campaign. So is the suggestion that the game didn't, like the demos didn't have to turn on invincibility mode twice? Is that the suggestion? Is the suggestion that the game actually did run really well, even though it didn't at launch? It actually ran really well, and the influencers were lying about it? Like, what is the suggestion? It's just, it sounds to me like just desperate cope. Like, it's just insanity.
And obviously that was backtracked on last year. Now this time you're saying it's definitely not. Gerhard alleged that the smear campaign had a budget of over €1 million spent in 2025, and that the big American company allegedly paid the UK-based company Ritual Network, who he claims are a bunch of gangsters, to carry out the sabotages. According to Gerhard, the company has been paying several influencers, including Cyberboy, an influencer Gerhard recently threatened with a cease and desist via Discord, 3 journalists and Builder Rocket Boy employees, to harm MindsEye and Builder Rocket Boy's reputation. Now, you may be thinking, who are Ritual Network and how do they come into this picture? Well, essentially, Ritual Network are a network I'm on. They manage loads of TikTokers and all of this sort of stuff. And they basically deal with like the brand deal side of it. They're a multi-channel network, essentially. A lot of YouTubers are part of them and they don't get involved in content. And to be honest, if all goes well, you don't need to talk to your network. Now, for a long period of time,
Yeah, there's a few different ones. Like this is a throwback. There's been many MCNs throughout the history of YouTube. Like Machinima is probably the most recognizable one. That was like early days of YouTube. It used to be that you had to have an MCN to get monetized at all on YouTube. That's not the case anymore. You can do it yourself. The main benefit nowadays is the secondary stuff where like they'll handle sponsorship negotiations. Some of them offer like discounted editing services where the MCN has editors and then you can hire their editors at a discounted rate. There's a bunch of different ones and they each have their different like specialties. My general rule of thumb is you're good. Like the MCN will get a lot more out of you than you will get out of them most of the time. There are some really good ones. I'm not familiar with these guys, so they very well could be one of the good ones, but that's what he's discussing.
email address on this channel was the Ritual Network email address. So I think
the CEO saw that you had the Ritual Network email address on your about page and is like, that's how they're doing it. I've solved it.
That's where he's got the name from. So of course, when all of this took off and, you know, all these allegations were being made, I actually spoke to Ritual Network and I had to explain to them what Builder Rocket Boy is, who MindsEye are, and I had to go through everything from start to finish to explain it because they were dumbfounded. In the meeting, Gerhard alleges that all of these individuals will be served in-person criminal complaints shortly, and that the criminal charges are for espionage, sabotage, and criminal interference.
The thing is, like, at least in the States, so maybe it's different. Several, if you know, in the UK, is it like the US where like criminal offenses are separate from civil offenses? Because if he's just alleging that you were like extra bad mouthy and you were too harsh on the game to an unreasonable degree, and they're going to sue you for libel or something, that's a separate thing than claiming there's a criminal complaint filed against you, that like the police are coming and knocking on your door. But he's acting like he's going to get to bring the criminal complaint against you. What? They are separate? Okay, yeah. I'm like, none of this makes any sense.
Everyone who's involved has real problems, including the company behind it. This is the start of our comeback, he said. Now, obviously,
You definitely don't sound like the crazy ex-girlfriend right now. You definitely don't sound pathetic and sad. That's not what you sound like. This is the start of a comeback for sure.
Point in the video.
Like, I'm sorry. Can you imagine if after like Cyberpunk 2077 back in 2020, it's like launches disastrously and they're like, this is Rockstar's fault. That's all. We're going to serve criminal complaints. We're suing everybody. It's your fault. It's all your fault. This is the start of our comeback. Like, you remember that really contrite and quiet apology video the CEO made where he's like, we're going to fix it. We're going to make it right. Instead of that, he's just like, and you're getting sued and you're getting sued. Like, that's what's happening. It's wild.
I need to get my piece across. Completely false. I've not been paid by any entity, individual or company, whatever it might be, to say anything negative about MindsEye. Anything. Nothing. I've received nothing of value either to say anything negative about MindsEye. What I find quite bizarre about this as well is that, you know, if you look at all of the hundreds of millions of views of people talking about MindsEye, and then you compare that to like the views that my videos got on it, like I think all my videos combined were maybe 200,000 views maximum. And there's people out there that have, like, just on their one channels, 5 to 6 to 7 million views on their content because they're bigger creators. I do find it really bizarre that I've been named here. I think it's probably I've probably been named here because obviously I did interviews with the voice actor, I did interviews with employees and stuff that, you know, I imagine that rubbed them up the wrong way. But no, I haven't been served in person with criminal complaints or anything like that. That hasn't.
I think it's that, and I think also just transparently, they're assuming that you're a gettable target, an easy scapegoat, right? Because transparently, like if he were naming, like if he threw out my name, for example, like I'll have a field day with that. I'll go get my lawyer. We'll have a good day. He'll pay for my kid's college education, okay? Like if he starts, because like, well, if you want to play that game, dude, we'll play that game. And I'm gonna win, okay? But I get the vibe that he's going after nameless journalists, because he said it's like 3 journalists that he's going after. He's going after employees that were part of this conspiracy, and he's going after you. And I think it's that he's trying to pick targets that he thinks he can pin it on without ever having to actually justify it. Yeah, they think I wouldn't take legal action. That's my guess. Because I think they're like, oh, well, you cover your face, so you don't want to bring this out and like have to go to court where you might have like your name and things exposed officially, which is why they think it's, or he thinks it's a reasonable target, because they're like, yeah, you're not going to do anything because you'd have to basically dox yourself, you know.
Taking place.
Maybe in the UK there's a way to do it not anonymously. Like the court would have to know who you are, but maybe there's a way to do it protecting your anonymity. I don't know. In the US, I don't think there is a way. You'd have to kind of self-dox, but maybe in the UK there's a way. I'm not sure.
And Ritual Network denied the allegation, so Ritual Network put out a statement. You can read it on screen, okay. But yeah, they're just to create a support platform. It's such a
seriously. They're like, what the hell are you talking about? Like, we're not part of a grand conspiracy. What?
Yes, I really feel for them because they don't talk about content with me or anything. Like occasionally, if I've got like a copyright issue or a video gets taken down, whatever, that's when I ask them for some advice. Like that's kind of what they're there for, to help with the infrastructure of the channel. Now they're dragged all over the internet as being involved in something absolutely insane, which they have no involvement in, and they are genuinely a really good network. They work with some fantastic creators and they're fantastic people, and they're not involved in this. And I think regardless of anything, regardless of all of this legal talk and all of that shit, they deserve an apology, a public apology at least. Yeah. Because obviously Mark never intended for what he said in that meeting to end up going public, understandably, but he still said that in a forum of people in a meeting, and that has now leaked to the press, and the consequence of Mark saying that is negative for this business, which has absolutely nothing to do with this at all. Like it's absolutely insane. This could damage their reputation. Then Insider Gaming asked Builder Rocket Boy for a statement as well, and they said, we don't comment on leaked internal communications, which is fine, but then he proceeds to give a comment. Sadly, we do have evidence that there has been a coordinated campaign to purposefully and maliciously damage Builder Rocket Boy's reputation and undermine confidence in MindsEye.
I'm guessing it's that they looked at a few creators that are under that same network that made videos that were fairly similar, where it's like 3 different creators under their network said that they thought the game looked bad. Clearly, it's a coordinated hit piece, when in reality, it's like, no, they just thought your game looked bad. You know?
We're working with our legal team and taking steps to address this. So in that statement there, they didn't mention Ritual, they didn't mention me. If there has been a coordinated attempt to damage this game, it's not something that I'm involved in. It's not something that Ritual's involved in. I'm not sure what evidence that they have of there being a coordinated campaign, but I can guarantee you one thing: whatever that coordinated campaign is, I'm not involved in. Following the allegations made in the meeting, Gerhard went on to say, the way we win as a business is through the quality of our games, through the love, the passion we put into MindsEye. Now the next...
And I'm sure that there was love and passion put into it. It just was not... It's not there. I just checked, I've checked. I was the only creator under the network, which makes it even funnier. Oh, dude, they're just... What's easy about this, though, is that the specific claim that it was all under this one network means that if they were to actually take legal action, like say they actually try to file a lawsuit, he's claiming criminal action, which tells me that he really doesn't know what he's talking about. But if they were to actually go to court with it, they subpoena, like the court subpoenas the banking documents for a Ritual Network. It shows no mysterious multi-million-dollar payment from an American company sent out to you. Case closed. Like there is no case. You know, the moment at least in the US, the way it works is that there's a discovery period where all the documentation comes in. And after the first wave of discovery, the lawyers representing Ritual Network and Cyberboy would be able to just like petition it for dismissal because it's baseless. And then they would. And it would probably be dismissed with prejudice. And then it opens up counter lawsuits for like actual defamation, claiming that you're part of a coordinated campaign. Where the CEO of the company is alleging this. And now this is the really bad thing, okay, for them. Up to this point, it's just been internal communication from the co-CEO. Insider Gaming went to the company and asked for a statement. The company's PR rep representing the company came back and further alleged these same things. Meaning that now the company is accusing Cyberboy and Ritual Network of this stuff, not just the co-CEO. Because up until that point, the co-CEO could say, well, no, that was just my personal opinion. That wasn't the company. So you can't sue the company. Now you can, because the company is doubling down on those allegations too.
Next bit is pretty insane. And this is where I'm going to be limited in what I say. And like, to be brutally honest, I've sought legal advice and I'm going through that process at the moment. Essentially, it's on screen now and you can read it if you want to read it. Essentially, their plan is to put former employees and all the people named above into future missions, like hitman missions. So essentially, they encourage players to kill us. Now, if that does happen, I don't need to explain what could potentially happen from, you know, a legal perspective, but that is some of the most insane stuff.
What? Insider Gaming understands that MindsEye upcoming spy mission will be a reused version of the now canceled Hitman mission announced in June of 2025, considering they are now separate from IOI. And let's have some fun with it, he said. Quote, let's tell the community the story before it even plays out in court. So, you know, I think this is not us being the victim. We've taken a couple punches, we've kept turning the other cheek while we've got our house in order, and now it's time to start judoing this right back at them. And you know, so let's have some fun with it. At the end of the day, we're storytellers. We're game makers, bro. That's, I don't even know if petty is the word for that. Like literally, we're upset that you didn't, like that you bashed our game because it was rushed and broken. So we're going to make you a target in an assassination mission. Like what? Can you imagine like literally any other company doing anything like this? Imagine being like, hey, AC Shadows, didn't think it was that good. And then Ubisoft announces the next mission in Assassin's Creed Shadows is going to allow you to kill Luke Stevens. We've put him in the game without his permission, of course, but we're going to let you kill him in brutal ways. Like, it's actually unhinged, bro. It's insane.
I've ever heard. You don't do that. But we'll move on. And also, apparently, during the call, there was some stuff about them putting monitoring software on the employees' computers, supposedly without their knowledge. Once again, that could be a legal issue, but I'm not involved in that. It's nothing to do with me. I want to read.
Dude, for real, if you work at Build a Rocket Boy, I feel for you because that's how you're paying your bills and providing for you and your family. But like, seriously, I cannot fathom working at a company that's this unhinged. It's actually like group mass hysteria. It's just absolutely insane. Truly lolcow behavior. Yeah, dude, for real.
Yes, right here that this is so absolutely absurd. It's absolutely ridiculous. I've never seen claims like this, and I'm hoping that, you know, for all of my criticisms of MindsEye, and to be honest, there was a lot, but also there was a substantial amount of like positive things that I have said about the game. I've always been adamant about the art direction. I've always been adamant about the casting. The casting for the game was brilliant. There's a lot of things that I've positively spoke about the games. I'm not sure whether, you know, this whole idea of €1 million marketing campaign to trash the game, when in the grand scheme of MindsEye content, I'm irrelevant. In fact, when this article came out, everyone knew of MindsEye, but no one knew of me. Like, if you look at all the replies in like Reddit and stuff, people are like, I don't know who this Cyberboy guy is. And yeah, because I'm like, in the grand scheme of YouTube, I'm tiny, I'm minuscule, I'm irrelevant. Maybe in the GTA 6 conversation, I exist a bit more, but in the MindsEye conversation, my videos barely even scratched the surface. Yeah, overall, this is just absolutely insane.
I mean, I just think that reaffirms the point, which is that I think Mark is trying to pin it on you and these other anonymous, nameless people, because he thinks that it's a scapegoat where he can point the finger and blame and yell and scream and cry, but that nothing will ever happen with it. You know, I guarantee you, like, I really, really think that part of the reason he's going after you specifically is because you've protected your identity. And so he's like, yeah, so he's not going to do anything because he doesn't want to reveal his identity. I'm betting that's what he's thinking.
The past few days I've been a bit unsure of how to really approach this, because like, it's like a double negative. So for example, the claim is that I've been paid money to say things. Well, how can I prove that I haven't received money? Do you know what I mean? Like, how do I, like, I'm obviously not going to publish all of my bank records on the internet because that's silly, but it's a double negative. It's a claim that I can only debunk that claim once evidence is presented. And obviously in this, it's like, you know, shady American company. The only company mentioned is Ritual Network, which is once again something that hasn't been substantiated. So yeah,
it's why it's like all these legal systems work the way that they do. It's a claim until there is evidence to support the claim. Otherwise, it's just a claim. Claims aren't evidence. Claims are claims. And so he's claiming all of this grand conspiracy and all of that. But as of right now, he's just saying stuff. You know, anybody can say stuff. It doesn't mean anything. And that's why it literally is like, okay, bite me. What are you going to do? File the lawsuit. It'll be dismissed quickly. And then we can go to court and countersue you, showing that you had nothing to justify your claims. And you were willingly, because at least in the US, for like defamation claims or libel claims, you have to have evidence that they knew what they were saying was false. So like if there was reason to believe something, and then an agency reported it or a content creator said it, then it's not defamation or libel, because there was a reason to believe that that was true at the time, right? But if you can show, because they already tried to take this to court and it was dismissed with prejudice because it was nonsense, you can then show, no, they had nothing. They knew that this was insane. Like, they knew that this was stupid, and you can just dismiss it.
This is all a bit, it's a bit strange. But the last thing I want to say is like what I hope happens here. I hope this is a bit of a wake up call for like Mark Gerhard and, you know, the Builder Rocket Boy team to be like, okay, right, well, it's a silly thing to have said. Let's move on from it. Let's continue working on the game, build out this online mode, and focus on the game and make the game better.
Isn't defamation harder to prove when you have celeb status in the US? Yes, because with your notoriety, there's going to come a certain level of expectation for crazy claims. You know, like there's people on TikTok, I'm sure, that are claiming that, like, you know, I have evidence that the Pope is raised by aliens, is not human, and actively participates in blood rituals. I'm sure there's people like that out there. Like, filing a defamation lawsuit against that no-name TikToker would probably not be worth the time, and it wouldn't go anywhere. Like, it's just ignore it. The difference here, in my opinion, is that it is a claim, like, he literally has accused Cyberboy and this company of a criminal offense. He's accusing them of breaking the law and conspiring in a multi-million-dollar plot to harm the company. Like, what he's doing is alleging something that not just impugns the character of Cyberboy, but the company itself, and claims that they've committed all these crimes, which could affect Cyberboy's ability to get future like brand deals or sponsorships and stuff. I don't think it will, because I think everybody knows that this is insane. But that could be the claim in court, is that this has damaged my reputation and will affect my ability to make money in the future and all of that. So I think there's certainly a claim from this perspective back towards Builder Rocket Boy to argue that this is defamatory.
Because at the end of the day, if they have like a really good online mode, the game will become more like playable long term. Like there's that replayability element of it, which is, I think, a stance that a lot of people have had for the longest time. If they've just focused on fixing their game and getting all of that stuff kind of ironed out, and I think in their latest update, from what I've been reading, a lot of the bug fixes have been addressed, which is good. They need to focus on that. This whole thing about how like people have been served papers and all of it, like none of this has happened. I'm not sure if he was potentially just trying to build up some team morale within the company or not. I don't know. It's you know, he was potentially trying to, you know, bolster up the fact that, you know, it's not their fault that the game didn't do so well on launch or whatever. I'm not sure whether it was like a motivational speech or whatever, but this shouldn't have really leaked to the public. But also, more importantly, this stuff should have never have been said. Anyway, if you did enjoy today's video, it's a very weird one. I didn't think
it is an odd video you never would think you'd have to make, but yeah, no, I think you responded to it well. It is patently insane, and I think any court would be able to see that, thankfully. You know, or maybe that's optimistic of me, but I think any reasonable person could see that this is unhinged. And it's so ridiculous because none of this is helping MindsEye or Build a Rocket Boy. This is only harming. I was considering doing a video looking at the game after all the updates. That's free promotion. That's free promotion worth a lot of money. But I'm not going to do it now because I don't want to promote anything that this guy's associated with. Like, he's actively harming his own product, his own company and employees because he can't keep his freaking mouth shut. It's just outrageous. And what I think is also outrageous, again, is that I really do believe that the reason why he's targeting Cyberboy and this network and then unnamed journalists and stuff is because he thinks that he can do that and there's going to be no counteraction. Whereas if he was to actually name, like, IGN is responsible for this too, like IGN has lawyers and they will send something to him to like tap him down. You know, it's just ridiculous. It's absolutely ridiculous. So wish you the best of luck, Cyberboy. I have a feeling nothing's going to happen. And he's just going to keep barking, and that's what it's going to be. But we will see. We will see. 25 minutes ago, Leslie Benzies is on leave from Build a Rocket Boy as Gerhard appears to assume sole CEO role. What? He's the co-founder and co-CEO of Build a Rocket Boy, the developer behind MindsEye. He's reported taking a temporary leave from the firm. This was confirmed by the other CEO, Mike, who's been threatening to sue everybody. Per an email from Gerhard to the wider company, Benzies is taking a well-earned temporary leave to recharge after more than a year of working around the clock. But following that, Gerhard stressed he'd be guiding the company forward, signed his email off as CEO, not co-CEO. What? Dude. Yeah, Leslie Benzies, formerly of Rockstar North fame, found himself accused of sexual assault in the recently uncovered Epstein file. He categorically denied the assault, but confirmed he was in a consensual relationship with his accuser. In a new report published by Game Industry, it was revealed that an email posted by Mark Gerhard after an all-hands meeting confirmed Leslie Benzies' temporary departure from the company. Gerhard worded the email quite strangely, making it sound like the absence might be a little bit longer than you would assume. He has our deepest gratitude, and with the leadership team and your support, I will guide us forward. The report expanded with comments from the former and current employees at Build a Rocket Boy, one of whom explained, quote, "I don't think Build a Rocket Boy survives this crisis. I believe the end is coming for BARB. And it's not heralded by saboteurs, but by Mark and Leslie themselves." This was in response to Gerhard's claim of having evidence that Build a Rocket Boy and MindsEye were subject to a ruthless targeted campaign to bring the brand down. Insider Gaming recently published a report detailing this exact claim. Bro, that's crazy. That's insane. Okay, so he's just heading out for a bit. He's going to get milk. No, I swear. I'll be right back. I'll be right back. Oh, does it smell like smoke in here? Okay. Is there a fire over there? I don't know. I'll be right back. Like, that's wild. He took my thing.